brisk and windy afternoon here in Happy Valley as the Penn State Nittany Lions are getting ready to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the historic Rec Hall. My name is Jude Wozniak. Joined alongside me is Ali Winskowski, and a big matchup here for the Penn State Nittany Lions as they come in today with a 7-4 record, but to their name on the year, 7-4, 4-0 at home. On the road, they've struggled 0-4, but that doesn't matter here, Allie, because they're at home and they're going to try and continue that streak today.
Yes, this is an exciting matchup for both teams. We are at Rec Hall. We talked to Coach Brown earlier, and she said that does make a big difference for the team. The team is just more comfortable. But, I mean, they did have to go to class today. The team isn't, like, bonding as they would be on the road, like a team breakfast. But they are on their home turf looking for their home win today against Nebraska, who is a very tough team for them in their historical matchups. But we'll see as the match gets started at Rec Hall. And we're going to start off for PSU on the vault, and Nebraska will start off on the bars.
Well, you talk about a tough matchup for the Nittany Lions. The Nittany Lions have not come away with a victory against this Cornhuskers squad since 2006, and they've really struggled. They did come away with a higher score in the Big Ten Championship back in 2021. So they're going to try and change that here and come away with a victory and continue that winning streak at home. And yeah, you mentioned it at home. We got a chance to talk to Coach Brown, and she just talked about the difference here and also how it's a big turnover for her own squad here, as graduated 6 seniors or grad students last season, and now a lot more freshmen and underclassmen oriented as a whole. So she had to realize that it was a struggle of communication, because before she knew what her girls wanted, but now it's more communication, so she has to get more in groove with what she wants with them, and it can't just be black and white, and it's helped her a lot grow a connection with her freshman, sophomore, and all underclassmen here.
Yes, definitely. There's a new squad for Penn State, 11 underclassmen, but Coach Brown said a main thing was building the connection with them so far, and they have done that, which has been proven why they are so good at home this season. However, like you said, they haven't won since 2006 against Nebraska, and they are 5-29 historically against the team as well. So we'll see if they can improve to 6-29. But other than that, they will be starting warm-ups now.
3 minutes on the clock for warm-ups here in Rec Hall, as the Nittany Lions will be starting on vault, as Ali said, and the Cornhuskers on uneven bar. And for the Nittany Lions, it'll be interesting to see, as Coach Brown mentioned that this has been one of their weakest links in terms of events here at Rec Hall, specifically as this is kind of the one that, although not unpredictable, it's been the one that has been the lowest scoring outcome for them. And Ali, what can you tell me about that coming into this?
Yes, for Penn State, this is one of their harder events. And for 4 out of their 6 vaults, they actually have a maximum score of 9.95, not the highest score of 10. So we will see how that helps them throughout the match, and if they can reach that 9.95 with any of their athletes.
Well, luckily for the Nittany Lions, transitioning after vault, of course, is one of their best events in uneven bars, as they've just dominated that facet of the game this year. It's been so good for them. And looking as a whole down the stretch for on balance beam, it's kind of shaky. Coach Brown talked about that. It's been pretty consistent this year, but last year was one of their worst events, so they're going to try and continue with that. But she mentioned that she really has no idea what will happen on balance beam.
Yes, there's definitely been some changes to the lineup as well, but bars is one of their highest scoring potential moves, so they can pick up a lot of points there. They just need to stick their dismounts, as Coach Brown said. But the beam, again, has been more inconsistent for them. Not really sure how they're going to do on that, but they're looking to pick up some points there right after bars.
Yeah, looking at the Nittany Lions, last time here at Rec Hall, a historic night for them on the season. They had 3 of their 4 highest scorers in categories for them on the year, as they dominated the Rutgers Scarlet Knights on vault. They had a 49.125, and against Michigan State, which is their highest for bars, they had a 49.275. And these are just season highs for the Nittany Lions. Against Rutgers for beam, they had a 49.15, and it happened 2 times for the Nittany Lions throughout the season in a quad meet, and then also against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights on floor, they had a 49.15 for their final score. As you see here, some of the fans excited to get going. And talking about the fans, Coach Brown gave a lot of credit to why they're home record was so dominant. The fans being here, a lot more fan turnout. The marketing team she mentioned has done a phenomenal job getting people to come out to Rec Hall, and she really harped on trying to get more Friday afternoon matches.
Yes, the fans make such a difference, as do they do for every sport. Just like the team is more comfortable, they have the support of their fans, and they have people cheering for them. So it is Galentine's Day night here at Rec Hall, but Gabby Galentine will not be competing for Penn State. She actually passed out some Valentines to the younger folks earlier coming in to watch, but she is on the injured list, so she won't be competing. But welcome to Galentine's night at Rec Hall.
As you have Pat and We Are chants going back and forth here from the Nittany Lion faithful. Just 5 seconds left on our warm-up clock here as we'll be set to go away for this match here. And starting first for the Nittany Lions on vault, it'll be Maddie Johnston, followed by Cassie Rushlow, Amani Herring, Isabel Salcedo, Jessie Johansson, and then Ava Piedrahita. And talking about the freshman phenomenon, Ava Piedrahita, she's been so good for this Coach Brown squad, and you know you're good when you are the head notes of scouting opponents for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Has been so dominant all year, as last time, she won the event early on in the year on vault with a 9.925. She's a freshman from Gainesburg, Maryland. Piedrahita was the lone competitor in the all-around competition for the Nittany Lions, as she finished with a score of a 39.35. Recording 4 scores over a 9.8. She's been so dominant for this Nittany Lions squad, and Coach Brown mentioned before the recruiting rules changed, she's known Ava for a while now. As you see Coach Brown here with her pink blazer she mentioned to us earlier, be on the lookout for that, as Ava and Coach Brown have had a connection since 2018.
Yes, that connection really got established early, and it's something that probably made the transition with the freshman squad much smoother, as she's known Ava for such a long time. Ava started at Hills Gymnastics and was a Region 7 All-Star in 2019 and 2021, so she definitely has some experience under her belt. She's just starting to get that college experience, but I don't think she'll have any problem, as she's already shown herself on the floor.
Couple more things here as we get ready. Coach Brown also harped on the fact that this is huge for the seniors here tonight as the crowd starts pouring in, as this is the first year that it has not really been impacted by COVID. In 2020, they got hit by COVID as the season came to an end. 2021, still dealing with COVID issues. 22, they've also had COVID issues with people getting sick. As we are underway here to start, starting first for the Nittany Lions, as you hear the crowd roar here. Off the vault was Maddie Johnston, as she sticks it.
That was a big first vault for Maddie Johnston, and just for PSU to begin with, as they wanted to start off strong, especially on a shaky event for them, which is vault.
Looking to the other side here for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, starting on uneven bars. This will be Sophia McClellan. As McClellan goes for her dismount, she sticks it. As you hear even some Nebraska Cornhuskers faithful here, as surrounded by her teammates and able to connect on that dismount there from the bars.
Yes, her bars is actually one of her best events. She scored a career high 9.775 at the Lindsay Ferris Invitational on just this past January 15th. She's looking to improve that score to make another career high here.
Now for the Nittany Lions, running down the chute and connecting on the vault is
Cassidy Rushlow.
That correction is Maddie Johnston, as off the first vault, it was not Maddie Johnston. We would like to make a correction. It was Elena Virova.
Yes, Cassidy Rushlow is next for PSU on the vault.
So Penn State, 2 strong sticks to start, and that is a 9.75 to start for the Nittany Lions for Elena Virova.
It's a strong score to start, exactly what the Nittany Lions wanted on that one.
As still gaining some scores from the bars to start. As waiting here next for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, it'll be Genesis Gibson for the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Yeah, she's a sophomore, and this is her best event. She is an all-around player, but bars, she had a 9.825 out of Ohio State on the 11th.
Gibson from Prosper, Texas. She'll try and stay even with the Nittany Lions. An update on Maddie Johnston. She had a 9.8 for her dismount off the vault. Sticks the landing there. Genesis able to connect.
Yes, and as we were talking to Coach Brown earlier, she did mention that anytime a Nittany Lion scores a 9.8 or higher, there are t-shirts thrown into the crowd. The crowd really gets into these big scores.
For Sophia McClellan, her score for the bars was a 9.775. So keeping pace with the Nittany Lions as back and forth these two squads go to battle. Now running down for the Nittany Lions
Is Cassidy Rushlow.
We'll have a little bit of a mix-up here. It's Amani Herring able to stick the landing. As Amani Herring will get the Nittany Lioneers after that phenomenal dismount from her.
You can already see the atmosphere within Penn State. The whole squad is just in for those big vaults and the big scores that they need early.
Over now for the Cornhuskers. This will be Clara Colombo on for her bars routine. And Genesis Gibson, by the way, had a 9.8 on her bars routine. So trading blows back and forth here are the Cornhuskers and the Nittany Lions.
Yes, the scores have pretty much been even so far. Clara Colombo was an All-American in 2020 and 2022.
Colombo sticks it. She went for the reverse. Is able to connect there. She's met by her teammates. For the Nittany Lions so far, they have the score updated for 2 as they're sitting at 29.325, and for the Cornhuskers, sitting at 19.57. Running down the chute there for the Nittany Lions, Isabel Salcedo, as she hits off her dismount. Stepping up for the Cornhuskers now, this will be Emma Spence, the only all-around for this Cornhuskers squad.
Yes, a lot of pressure is being put on her tonight as she's the only all-around, but bars is one of her best events as well. She is from Cambridge, Ontario, and actually her first language isn't English, it's actually French.
Updating scores here for Bella Salcedo, a 9.5 off of the vault for her time around. As trying to update scores here from the scorers table. As the athletes here will wait. You see the Nittany Lion having some fun with the kids here at Rec Hall. As for a team score here for the Nittany Lions, 38.825. And for the Cornhuskers, still lacking, trying to get some scores from the bars. Still sitting at 19.575.
Gymnastics is one of those very fast-paced sports because you have 2 events going on at the same time, so that can create a little bit of difficulty at the scores table just when they try to catch up to get even team scores.
Notes on the Nebraska Cornhuskers head coach Heather Brink. She's been the head coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers for 5 years now, and since she's been the coach in the Big Ten, Nebraska's finished second and competed for nationals here, as getting back and ready to go here on bars. Able to connect there off the dismount. And over to vault now for the Nittany Lions. Jessica Johansson set to go.
She is one of Penn State's all around, so you're going to see her on every event tonight as she does her vault and sticks the landing there.
Phenomenal job there as getting greeted by her teammates.
Gymnastics is definitely an individual sport when it comes to events, as you can tell. However, it's really a team sport as well. You see each team member runs up, hugs their teammate after their event, and just hopes for the best.
Next on the bars for the Cornhuskers, it'll be Kenzie Davis.
Kenzie Davis is also competing on the vault tonight.
So last time around that was Spence for the Cornhuskers, still waiting for her score. As for the Cornhuskers now updating their score, sitting at a 29.2, and for the Nittany Lions still at a 38.825. As Davis will get set to go for her routine. Next up for the Nittany Lions on the vault will be Ava Piedrahita. Able to nail the dismount there.
Bars is definitely her best event, as you saw there, and her career high in all events total, as she recorded in 9.975 at Michigan last February.
Kenzie Davis was there, and now the freshman phenomenon, Ava Piedrahita, connects.
You're going to hear that name a lot tonight.
Piedrahita, as we've mentioned, one of the all-arounds for this Nittany Lions squad, as they've come in with 3 tonight. For Jessica Johansson, last time around gave her a 9.825, so another 9.8 for the Nittany Lions. The Nittany Lions, though, wrapping up their score for Piedrahita. Still waiting for final word off that, as right now sitting at a 48.65, and for the Cornhuskers sitting at a 39.075 with 1 more to go.
That is a big score for Penn State. When talking to Coach Brown earlier, she said they just wanted at least a 48 on the vault. That was one of the weaker events, and they managed to do that successfully so.
Last for the Cornhuskers here will be Simpton. Emma Simpton out of Dallas, Texas, the sophomore. A little misstep there, but able to hit off the dismount for Emma Simpton. As for the Nittany Lions, the last time around, Ava Piedrahita had a 9.825 for her vault.
Just waiting for Simpton's score to come in for Nebraska, but right now we are at an even dead heat, 48.975 for both squads.
Yeah, and for the Cornhuskers, they will have an expedition here for them, as they'll be set to go. The expedition for them will be the Hungary native. It'll be Chenge Boxguy. She'll have her routine on bars.
She's a freshman, and she debuted at the season opener against Arkansas, where she scored a 9.60. on bars. She also competed for Team Hungary at the 2022 World Gymnastics Championship. She is a very international athlete and a world name.
For Kinsey Davis on her bars routine, a 9-9. Strong showing there for the junior from Huntersville, North Carolina. As the Hungary native will go for her routine. This is Changay Boxguy.
You will see her again as she will be competing later on vault.
As for the expedition there from Boxguy, able to hit off her dismount. As her score will not count, but an update as both teams will send out 6 competitors for each event, and they will only take the 5 highest scores and will move forward from there. For the Nittany Lions, their final score off of the vault, a 48.975. And for the uneven bars for Nebraska, a 49.075. Thanks to Simpson with her 9.725, rounding it out. So the score that will be dropped will be Colombo's, which was a 9.625. And for the Nittany Lions, the score that will be dropped will be Salcedo's at a 9.5.
Now we have a 6-minute break as teams attempt to switch events. So we're going to swap completely. Penn State's going to go to the uneven bars, and Nebraska is going to head to the vault.
Yeah, we'll have our first rotation here in Rec Hall, and we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. This is Penn State Women's Gymnastics here on Big Ten Plus. Welcome back into Rec Hall here with a minute on the clock, still in warm-ups, as the Nittany Lions will move over to uneven bars, and for the Cornhuskers, they will move over to vault, as the Nittany Lions down 48.975 to 49.075, but a great start for the Nittany Lions off of one of their weaker events, according to Coach Brown, but they look strong in that category. Jude Wozniak joined alongside me as Ali Winskowski. And Ali, what can you tell me about that first rotation for both of these teams?
I thought it was a really strong rotation for both sides. Yes, vault is one of Penn State's weaker events. However, they shined. They did exactly what they needed to do, and they hit all their notes. So while they may be down just slightly going into the second rotation, it's exactly what they wanted. Nebraska, again, bars is one of their stronger events. So they did exactly what they needed to do by putting up a big score and pulling ahead slightly heading into the second rotation. As the clock winds down, we just have about 10 more seconds until we get started into action.
Yeah, moving over for the Nittany Lions, you mentioned for the Nittany Lions, their strongest event coming up here, uneven bars, and who can you tell me to look out for here, Ali, for them?
This is definitely an event where they put up strong people. Like all 6 of their people that they put up are going to be strong. But you definitely want to watch out for Maddie Johnson and Cassidy Rushlow. You didn't see Cassidy in the vault as she was supposed to, but there was a last-minute roster change, but you will see her on bars, and it is one of her best events.
For the Cornhuskers, going off what we have here, believed to be their best score on the year for the uneven bars, sitting at a 49.125. As we'll get underway here, as for the Cornhuskers to start off, that'll be McClellan, has a little misstep, but able to hit off of the vault. And for the Nittany Lions to start.
Yes, you saw her on the bars earlier where she scored a 9.75 for Nebraska.
The Nittany Lions here on bar, it'll be Jessie Johansson out of West Hartford, Connecticut, the sophomore. Jessie gets the crowd to cheer for something here in Rec Hall. She sticks it off of the bars, and a strong start for the Nittany Lions, Ali.
Perfect landing right there, and exactly what they needed to do. With bars being one of their best events, they got the strong start that they needed.
The sophomore, you can see behind her, the crowd excited for that. Now over to the Cornhuskers. We'll have the hungry native, Box Guy, the freshman from Budapest, set to go, and she'll be set to run off. Box Guy able to recover off the vault.
Vault typically is her best event. She's the 2021 Hungarian national champion in the event.
For the Cornhuskers, for Sophia McClellan, off of the vault, had a 9.75. And over on the uneven bars for the Nittany Lions, 9.775 for Jessie Johansson. Now up for the Nittany Lions, it'll be Johnston. Maddie Johnston sticks it.
You can clearly see why bars is one of Penn State's best events, or it's just their most consistent event, where they can stick those big landings, can get the height that they want, and they're doing it consistently against Nebraska.
For Johnson, we'll wait her final score, but for bars, her top was in the Big Ten Championships last year at a 9.875. Now away is Hall for the Cornhuskers. No misstep there as her teammates come to support her down. And for Box Guy, a 9.8 off of the vault. You mentioned that is her forte off of the vault, and the score shows for her.
9.8 is the score that you want to hit that mark. Shows that you had a great event.
Moving for the Nittany Lions now, it'll be Alina Virova has a 9-9 for Maddie Johnston, as crushing her career high, which was set back last year at the Big Ten Championships. Sticking it is Elena Virova, as the Nittany Lions and the Nebraska Cornhuskers trading blows here in this second rotation. No team wants to give, as the Nittany Lion go on Virova.
Once again, that's Virova's forte, the sophomore from Latvia. She competed in 10 meets last year as a freshman, 2 times as an all-arounder.
As we got that highlight there, Comine went off her vault and was able to stick the dismount. Back over to uneven bars now. It'll be Maggie Mace. Mace, a junior out of Dayton, Ohio, as in the uneven bars.
This is her only event today, and she has a career high of 9.775, which was recorded at the Keystone Classic last year. Looking to keep with Penn State's stellar performance on uneven bars tonight.
For Hall of the Cornhuskers on her vault, she had a 9.8, and for Comine, she had a 9.85. As Mace gets set to go for her routine. See Coach Brown in the corner cheering on Mace, excited for her. Mace nails it. As for Virova, off of her bar routine, a 9.725.
Penn State and Nebraska are really going back to back with these scores really back and forth, with Nebraska having the slight edge so far as you see them take on the ball.
Davis, Kinsey Davis, the junior from Huntersville, North Carolina, goes for her bar run, or vault run, excuse me.
She is a 2022 Big Ten Sportsmanship Award winner.
Hita now set to go for her bars.
Looking for a big routine and score out of Pahidra.
Davis's career best on vault. Before we get her score, it was this year in the Lindsey Ferris Invitational, stuck a 9.9. As Maggie Mace, a 9.725. As Ava gets set to go.
Ava getting some height there.
A little misstep, but nothing major, as she nails the dismount from her bar routine. As one more to go, as it is Cassie Rushlow for the Nittany Lions and one more for the Cornhuskers. As the last one for vault will be Emma Spence, as she's set and she goes away off her vault. Nails it for the Nittany Lions, as you see the replay there from Ava Piedrahita. On our scores right now, dead even 98.1 to 98.1, but in rec hall right now we have 88.1 for the Nittany Lions and a 98.1 for the Cornhuskers.
Definitely takes a second for the scores to come in. I think that's the biggest delay we face here, as we wait for one more Nittany Lion on the bars. as Nebraska just finished up their vault with a stellar performance. That's exactly what they wanted. Might not be their strongest event either. This bar seems to be both strengths, but they did a great job.
And from Coach Brown, talking to her about Cassie Rushlow, really just had excellent things to say about her. And she said she's amazing and is one of our star seniors for us, as mentioning that Rushlow has battled injury back and forth throughout her career, and the goal this year was really just to make her fall in love with gymnastics again as she gets set to go off.
She definitely is her own worst critic, but she was recruited back in 2017 and has shown her stuff since, as you see, as she takes on the uneven bars.
Well, Piedrahita in the bars had a 9.85. Can Rushlow top that? Nails it as the crowd gets going here at Rec Hall. As we'll try and improve their score for the Cornhuskers, sitting at a 98.15. And if Rushlow is able to beat a 97.25 or 9.75, then their score will increase here. That'll knock off either. It'll knock off Maggie Mace's or Virova.
Penn State had the huge uneven bars routine that they needed. It is their best event. They needed that as they head into rotation 3 coming up when they will be on the beat next, and Nebraska will take on the floor.
Waiting for a final score here. For Cassie Rushlow. As trying to see the score as kids put it up and put it immediately down here, so not able to see from our vantage point. I believe they gave her a 10, Allie.
That would be the first 10 of the match tonight, and that would be a huge score. You heard the roar of the crowd and saw the excitement on the faces. That would be huge and a career high.
Cassie Rushlow, if that's the case, beating her career high that she set against Nebraska last time around in 2021 with a 9.925 on January 23rd in 2021. Still waiting to update our score here on the live board.
I mean, a 10 is very, not rare in gymnastics, but it's a huge moment. It doesn't happen very often. It's just something you're going to remember.
And that would be huge momentum swing for the Nittany Lions as they would take the lead here in Rec Hall. And for Cassie Rushlow, a phenomenal showing for her, as you mentioned, would be a career high.
And was her debut in tonight's match. Especially, this is her senior year, so if she could come up with a 10, it'd be a huge win for her.
Well, you mentioned from Coach Brown saying that Cassie's really her own worst critic, really gets on herself, and she's trying to fall in love with the sport again, as looks like she's having fun out here tonight.
That's all you can really ask for. And Coach Brown did say that she was predicting a big night for Cassidy, so we're going to see that as it continues.
As we wait for Cassie Rushlow's final score, we're going to take a quick break here in Rec Hall. Don't go anywhere. This is the Big Ten Plus showing of Nittany Lions women's gymnastics. Coming back into Rec Hall, Jude Wozniak joined alongside me as Ali Winskowski has a score update here for Cassidy Rushlow. Not a 10 for her, and they originally had a 9.997, but as a correction has been made, her final score for the uneven bar, still a career high, a 9.975, a phenomenal showing for her in her first event of the night.
Yes, an incredible score for her. Not a 10, but met you as well be and helped push Penn State to the lead after their best event. They now lead 98.200 to 98.150.
And for the Nittany Lions in this third rotation here, going to the balance beam, and for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, they will be for their floor routines. As you mentioned, the Nittany Lions halfway through this as they are leading, and this is the one that Coach Brown talked about, the balance beam that is the most unpredictable and not really knowing what could happen.
Yes, Coach said it was very inconsistent, but especially last year. This year they have been generally solid on the beam, so she is cautiously optimistic that they can pick up some great scores here.
Yeah, this year for the beam, their highest was a 49.15, and that came against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. But besides that, they have not scored below a 48.65, so a wide range, but have maintained strong with 3 scores over a 49 or higher. For the Nittany Lions, starting off star-studded freshman Ava Piedrahita. Then behind her, it'll be Isabella Salcedo. And then it'll be Haley Gibble. Following her, Cassidy Rushlow. After Rushlow, it'll be Amani Herring. And then to round it out, Maddie Johnston. For the floor, for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, it'll be Katie Kianuman. Then it will be Hale Rorlick. Following her, for the Nittany Lions as they start their bar routines. And following Rorlick, it would be Piringer. But on the bars here, we've talked about her all night, the freshman Ava Piedrahita.
Having a stellar routine so far.
Piedrahita. She gets set for the dismount. Misstep, but able to finish strong there. Gets a high five from her coach, Coach Brown. She's excited for her. Now over to the floor routine for the Cornhuskers. Starting it for them will be Katie Kianuman. Rounding out her routine here was Key Newman. And a beautiful routine here for the Cornhuskers, starting off strong as they will try and beat their team high on the year of 49.15. Up next for the Nittany Lions on beam will be Isabella Salcedo.
We already saw Isabel Salcedo on the vault, and we will also see her compete on the floor upcoming.
For the Nittany Lions, looking back, this will be their over from the uneven bars. That is their second high on the year, as it'll fall short of the uneven bars routine against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights here in Rec Hall, which was a 49.275. Year ended with a 49.225. As Salcedo is off to her routine off the beam. Salcedo with a career high, which was against New Hampshire last year at a 9.85 off of the balance beam. We'll try and top that here tonight. Sticks it to end her routine. She gets a roar from the crowd. So we'll await her scores, but coming in now, the scores of the last two competitors for the Nittany Lions of the Cornhuskers. Ava Piedrahita had a 9.775 off of her routine on the beam. And for Key Newman, she had a 9.725 for her floor routine. Now, for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, it'll be Hale Rorick. Wrapping up her routine here is Rorick. Phenomenal floor routine for her as her teammates come and greet her at center floor. Coming in for the scores for Salcedo, a 9.825, so 0.25 short of her career high, but nonetheless a phenomenal showing from her on the beam. But Haley Gibble steps up to the plate here for the blue and white as she'll get her routine started off.
This is her only event of the night, but she will be debuting exhibition on the floor for the Nittany Lions. Her first time doing exhibition for Penn State. Gibble sticks the landing
she'll be greeted by her teams.
Huge routine for her right there. Did an excellent job on the beam as she wanted to. And she's just a freshman, so you're going to see her for years to come perfect her craft.
Sinking Springs, PA native, as Allie mentioned, the freshman gets a big hug from her coach, Coach Brown, as she's excited for her after a phenomenal routine on the beam. Cornhuskers' turn now to answer from the Nittany Lions, as up for her floor routine, it'll be Kylie Pieringer. Pieringer, the Ramsey, New Jersey native, the closest of the Cornhuskers athletes to be by Penn State, as she went cross country to Nebraska.
The senior's high on floor is a 9.9, and she got it 4 times, but the last was at the Big 5 meet last February.
Beautiful routine there from Pieringer. She can feel the energy from her teammates at center floor as she gets the sunglasses on. Want to mention for the Nittany Lions, however, Haley Gibble, a new career high off the balance beam, as before hitting her career high 3 times at a 9.85, finally passing that mark in her young career at a 9.875. And as you see here, a veteran in Cassie Russell, the senior from Worcester, Massachusetts, as she begins her routine.
Balance beam is actually tied with uneven bars for her best event. Both events she got a career high of 9.925.
Cassie stumbles there, but able to get back up. It'll be set to go off again.
As a junior, she competed in 10 meets, and 2 of them, she was an all-around participant.
Hits her landing, as we'll wait to see what her score was. As coming in from the scorer's table for Pieringer, a 9.875 for her floor routine. As the Nittany Lions, after 3 routines each from balance beam and floor, still ahead. Nittany Lions 127.675, and for the Cornhuskers, 127.525. Now for the Cornhuskers, stepping up to the challenge, it'll be Martina Comey.
Floor routines are just one of those events that, in my opinion, are the most fun to watch because the athletes really get to show off their creativity and what they can do on the floor. It's a very individual event, but they can choose what flips that they do, and so you really have a chance to pick up a lot of points here.
Wrapping up her routine as her teammates come to center mat. Martina Comine, the junior from Vicenza, Italy, as this Cornhuskers team has 2 Italy athletes.
In fact, that's only their second Italian gymnast in women's history. So they have 2 on the team, and they've only had 2 ever.
For the Nittany Lions, as we'll go back over to beam, it'll be Amani Herring, the freshman out of Denville, New Jersey.
Amani also competed on the vault earlier, and you will again see her on floor exercise.
Amani, in her debut for the Keystone Classic, had a 9.925. Her strongest event here as a Nittany Lion in her short career, as that was set back on the 6th of January, as making a strong case to top that one. It's the dismount here in Rec Hall. And a strong showing there from Amani Herring, the Denville, New Jersey native.
That's exactly the routine that Amani and Penn State just needed as a whole to get up their team score.
Yes, for Cassie Rushlow, they gave her a 9.275 after the stumble. A strong score, but most likely going to be the score cut out of the 6. Moving forward now, for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, it'll be Sophia McClellan. McClellan, the sophomore from Carmelo, California. As her career high on floor is a 9.9, which was set on the 15th of January at the Lindsey Ferris Invitational.
This is actually her first year with Nebraska as she competed for BYU for her freshman and sophomore year.
Stumble at the end, but a strong routine from McClellan. As we're getting scores in here. As for Herring, they gave her a 9.8 for her beam routine. As the Nittany Lions will need over a 9.275, which was from Cassie Rushlow, to up their score here from the beam. Up for them is all around Maddie Johnston.
Bounce beam typically is one of her better events. The career high of 9.875 that came last year in their meet at New Hampshire.
Johnston at a 9.9 in the vault today, or in the bars today. And for the vault, a 9.8. Trying to stay hot here in Rec Hall. Ends her routine with a roar from the crowd and gathered around by her teammates and given the Nittany Lioneers. As we will wait and see what her score was to see if that'll knock off Cassie Rushlow's score and be one of the top 5, and I'm going to assume so here, Allie.
I'm going to assume so as well. Looked like a beautiful routine, and she stuck the landing, which is a huge part of the balance beam, might be the most important.
Coach Sarah Brown, you saw talking to her after, as the final floor routine for the Cornhuskers. It'll be all around for them, Emma Spence, who will be competing in every event tonight. Spence on her vault routine, a 9.8. And for her bars, she had a 9.875. So trying to top both of those scores here with a strong floor routine.
In fact, in 2020, she was actually an Olympic Canadian team alternate. And her great-grandmother did go to the Summer Olympics in 1932 for the women's 100-meter dash.
Some athleticism in her background, as her high for floor of her career was set against Iowa last week at a 9.9. Finishing strong on the floor for the Cornhuskers as McClellan, we haven't mentioned her score yet, a 9.150. So that would be the score from Spence to knock her off, as she'll get the glasses. And for the Nittany Lions, Maddie Johnson all around on her balance beam routine, a 9.9, a new career high that she gets past, that she set against New Hampshire in 2022 on March 13th. For the Nittany Lions now, for her beam routine, this will be Jessica Johansson.
This is an exhibition routine, so her score does not count.
I want to correct myself. This is not Jessica Johansson. This is Bella Romignano.
Bella was supposed to be just an alternate for bars tonight, so it looks like we did have a lineup change.
Able to stick it there as Bella Romignano coming in as an exhibition tonight, so score will not count. And for the Nittany Lions, rounding it out, still in the lead after this third rotation with one more exhibition here coming from the Cornhuskers. It'll be Emma Simpton. Want to mention that Spence on her floor routine got a 9.875. So that rounded out the Cornhuskers score to end with a 147.225 after three rotations. And for the Nittany Lions, a 9.9 for Maddie Johnston.
The sophomore from Dallas, Texas, Emma Simpton, on the floor now, has a career best of 9.825 that came this year on January 28th when their meet at Illinois.
Finishing routine here as after this third rotation, the Nittany Lions with a new season best on the balance beam with a 49.175. Previously, it was tied twice in a quad meet between LIU, Penn State. Sorry, UPenn and Southern Connecticut State, where they had a 49.15 and then also had that against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And here against the Cornhuskers, the Nittany Lions, trying to make a statement as they have a new season balance beam best at a 49.175.
That balance beam routine for them could really make the difference here. As we said before, they haven't beat Nebraska since 2006 in a regular season matchup, as they look to try to change that tonight. And they are on track to do so as we head into the fourth matchup.
For the Cornhuskers, for their floor routine of 49.075, we're going to take a quick break here with a 5-minute warm-up for the Nittany Lions of the Cornhuskers, as we'll take a step aside. Don't go anywhere. This is Penn State Women's Gymnastics on the Big Ten Plus. Coming in for one final rotation here at the historic Rec Hall, as the Nittany Lions lead the Nebraska Cornhuskers 147.375 to 147.225, as the Nittany Lions will need a strong floor routine to hold the advantage and come away with a victory here, as they have not beaten the Nebraska Cornhuskers since 2006. Jude Wozniak joined alongside me, Ali Winskowski. Just 15 seconds here on the clock before we'll get ready for floor and beam routines, as Nebraska needs a strong showing here to come away with a victory, Ali.
Yeah, it's been a great matchup so far tonight. Maybe closer than some people expected, and Penn State has been doing their part. We're talking to Coach Brown earlier. She said that they have shuffled their lineup on the floor routine, and they're trying out some new tumbling passes as well as their new lineup. So going to be some interesting athletes and matchups on the floor as Nebraska takes on the balance beam, which again is one of their stronger events.
Well, you mentioned one of their stronger events. Well, in all but one event so far this year, they have reached over a 49 as a collective team off of the beam. For the Nittany Lions, they've only hit over a 49. They've hit over a 49 3 times as well. So similar in that category, as the Nittany Lions will need a strong routine on the floor to come away with a victory, as they lead by .150. Takes me a little bit to do some quick math there, Ali. Not a math major.
I don't blame you. Floor is one of those events where you can pick up some points, though, because, as I said before, it's one of the more creative events. So you can try out some new tumbles and try to gain you some more points.
For the Cornhuskers, as getting set to go here for her beam routine, this will be Asa Hall, the Rogers, Arkansas native and sophomore.
This is her third event of the night, and her best balance beam routine has come at the Lindsay Fairs Invitational this past January with a score of 9.875.
Little misstep off her dismount, but able to rebound there. And a strong routine there from Hall. As we'll move over to the floor for the Nittany Lions, Maddie Johnston. This will be her fourth event of the night. 2 all-arounds for the Nittany Lions tonight, Maddie Johnston and Ava Piedrahita.
Her best all-around score came at a 39.125 in 2021 in March at the Big Ten Championship.
needing a strong floor team routine for the Nittany Lions as Maddie Johnston starts off the blue and white hot. As mentioning, her floor top is a 9.725 back in the Big Ten Championships in 2021 on March 20th. For the Cornhuskers, they gave Asa Hall a 9.6 for her beam routine, as on now is Emma Simpson.
Balance beam is Emma Simpson's best event with a career high of 9.875. Last time she scored that was at Iowa this past February 6th.
Able to hit off her side dismount as her team is excited for Emma Simpson, as we'll await her score here. But for Maddie Johnston, a 9.775 as her floor routine, and that is a new all-time best for her, toppling her 9.725 at the Big Ten Championships in 2021. Now on for the Nittany Lions floor routine, Cassidy Rushlow.
Definitely feel the energy of this crowd throughout this routine. Everyone is looking for a big routine from the senior on the floor.
Finishing up her routine here, Cassidy Rushlow. Is a phenomenal routine from the senior. Over to the Cornhuskers now. As Simpson, they gave her a 9.925, so already the day high for both of these squads here. And a phenomenal showing there from Emma Simpson, as you see on replay here. Rushlow able to stick it.
Seems to be a battle of the balance beams here at Rec Hall, as both teams were pretty much even after the vault and uneven bars, but the balance beam seems to be where we are seeing some athletes shine tonight.
For Simpson, that is her career high now, as before it was a 9.875, and she hit that 3 times last time around. Allie mentioned was against Iowa last week. So a new career high for Emma Simpson on the beam. Now up for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, it'll be Allie Gard. Gard was supposed to come in today as an expedition, the freshman from Round Rock, Texas, but gets the starting nod for her beam routine. Gard's career high on the beam at 9.8, and that was against Illinois as they stumbled there, but able to recover strong. And that matchup against Illinois was on the 28th of January.
Allie Gard's debut on the balance beam was actually against Arkansas.
Able to hit her dismount here in Rec Hall. As coming in for the scorers from the floor for the Nittany Lions, Cassidy Rushlow, a 9.8 Strong showing for her, but if they're gonna want to make any push here to take this match tonight, they're gonna need a big score here from Ava Pietrahita. As for the Cornhuskers, they only had 2 people below a 9.775, and the Nittany Lions already have 1. As for the Cornhuskers on the floor routine, they had 2 hitting at a 9.875 as the all-around freshman phenomenon Ava Pietrahita takes center floor.
Really is a back and forth matchup here as the score is almost dead even as we await Allie Guard's score for the bounce beam for Nebraska.
Strong routine there from the freshman Ava Pietrahita. As we look over to the Cornhuskers, now 2.96 is in the beam category, so their saving grace is the 9.925 from Emma Simpton, as we see a replay here from Pietrahita. Sticking that one, as we'll await her score, but for the Cornhuskers, 2 lower end scores of the 9s, so mid-9s here, as they'll need a strong performance here on the beam from Clara Colombo. Colombo, the other Italy native, out of Caravaggio, the senior.
Colombo's career high on the beam was a 9.850 recorded on January 21st versus Maryland.
Biochemistry major. She'll try and help advance this Cornhusker score as they need something big here.
Colombo is an academic all Big Ten as she prepares for her dismount, which she's stuck. Beautiful routine.
For Colombo, as she wraps up her routine and gets high fives all around for her teammates. As they put up a score for the Nittany Lions. And it was not Ava Pietrahita, but it was her out there. They put it up under the wrong name. They put it up under Elena Virova, as Virova is set to go now. So just a little mishap there, but for Pietrahita, a 9.725 as her final score on the floor routine, as the Nittany Lions, after 3 apiece with the Cornhuskers on beam and floor, they've extended their lead a little bit here. 176.675 to 176.4, as for the Cornhuskers needing 2 more strong showings after that Colombo outing on the beam to catch up in that, and giving her a 9.8 as Colombo receives. the senior from Italy.
Huge score for Colombo there, exactly what the Cornhuskers need if they are to pull off this win today after 9.6 on the bar earlier.
Not her career high. Her career high was set against Maryland, and it's happened 2 times. And her career high on the beam was a 9.85. But a strong showing from the Italy native in Colombo, as on the floor now for the Nittany Lions, Alina Virova, as I believe what they're trying to do is just fix the scoreboard because they put it up for Pietrahita, and they originally did have Pietrahita's score under Virova on their automated screen, so just trying to fix that here in Rec Hall, and as soon as that is done, we'll be good to go.
Virova also competed on vault and bars today, and on vault she scored a 9.75.
Virova today, Riga Latvia native, sophomore.
She competed in 10 meets last year as a freshman and 2 of them as an all-arounder.
That'll conclude Virova's routine. Got the crowd going a little bit here in Rec Hall.
Floor is definitely Virova's best event with a career high of a 9.9 last year versus Maryland.
Still to come on the floor for the Nittany Lions, Salcedo and Herring. And for the Cornhuskers, it'll be Emma Spence, Katie McClellan on beam. Right now, Emma Spence set to go. See on the routine there, Zirova able to stick it, and we'll go back over to action here for Spence.
Spence came 3rd in the 2022 World Gymnastic Championship, where she competed for Team Canada.
Able to stick her landing. And another strong showing here for the Cornhuskers, as trying to knock off at least one of those 9.6s. I believe that's going to do one of them, Allie.
I agree. That was a beautiful routine, and I think could possibly be her career high, as her career high now sits at a 9.925, versus Maryland. So Might get it done, may not, but I think it'll definitely knock off one of those 9.6s.
Moving over to floor for the Nittany Lions as we'll await a score from Spence. It'll be Salcedo on the floor for the blue and white.
Salcedo, just a sophomore, qualified for the NCAA regional on her floor routine last year.
Salcedo has competed in multiple events tonight. On vault, had a 9.5. Did not compete in the bars. And in the beam routine, she had a 9.825.
In fact, Salcedo is the first Nittany Lion to score 9.9 or better on a floor routine at the NCAA regional.
An update on the all-around athlete from the Cornhuskers, Emma Spence, out of Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, had a 9.875 for her beam routine. As Salcedo sets to go on the floor. Finishing up her beautiful routine here on the floor is Salcedo as she'll await her score. And just doing some final number crunching for the Cornhuskers all-around athlete in Emma Spence. If my numbers are right, and I'm not a mathematician, as you see here on a replay from Salcedo. Just phenomenal. Able to get going on the floor, but Spence, a new career all-time high on the all-around before having it against Maryland on January 21st of 2023, before a 39.4, now a 39.425. Now for the Cornhuskers, their last participant here of the beam routine. It'll be Katie McClellan.
McClellan is a junior from California, recording her best beam of her career at a 9.925. Was just last week versus Iowa.
Able to hit her landing here. As I recall, we'll finish up the Cornhuskers on the beam, and we'll have one more here, not counting expeditions, of course, for the Nittany Lions. It'll be Amani Herring from Denville, New Jersey, the freshman, as Herring has competed in 3 events today, in the beam, the floor, and the vault.
She is a previous New Jersey state champion in floor routine, so you're gonna wanna watch this.
Herring for the beam had a 9.8, and then for her vault routine had a 9.775. Connie Herring to get going as we have the final score for McClellan, a 9.85 for her final score. We'll try and do some quick math here to figure out what the Nittany Lions will need. As right now, they're sitting at a 195.95. As the Salcedo score came in a 9.525. Needing to tie here from Herring. The Nittany Lions will need a 9-9. Herring, a beautiful routine, gets met on the mat by her teammates. So for Herring, her career high is a 9.875, and the Nittany Lions needing a little bit of hero work here from her, as she'll need to best her career high here with a 9.9 to tie.
That was a beautiful routine on the floor for her. And whether or not she gets that 9.9 score, it was the perfect ending for Penn State's official scores here tonight.
Finally, a little bit of exhibitions here. Exhibitions, excuse me. This will be Lauren Omasillo for the Cornhuskers.
The freshman is actually from Nebraska, growing up there, now attending college there, and she worked with the Omaha Gymnastics Academy prior to doing gymnastics for Nebraska. Stuck the landing there, beautiful routine for her. Although it doesn't count for the team score, definitely a boost for the Cornhuskers' morale and just a great moment for her in general.
For the Nittany Lions, still awaiting Herring's final score. But to wrap it up, we'll have one more expedition here for Haley Gibble on the floor.
You saw her perform on the beam earlier today, and once again, we said it earlier, but once again, this is her first time doing exhibition for floor. Waiting her routine now. We are also still waiting for Herring's final score of the match.
Regardless of Herring's score, a phenomenal night for her. For her beam routine, a 9.8. For her vault routine, a 9.8 as well. Or correction, for her beam routine, a 9.8. Waiting on her floor. And then for her vault routine, a 9.775. A strong showing from her as she only competed in 3 of the events tonight. Did not compete in the bar.
Crowd definitely getting into it as it is Valentine's Day, and a big showing from the Penn State crowd as well.
Yeah, a lot of people here for Rec Hall tonight on Friday afternoon. We did mention from Coach Brown that trying to get a lot more Friday matches here at Rec Hall and competing with other sports that play here during the fall, like men's volleyball and wrestling. It's hard to get availability sometimes here, but a couple Friday afternoon matches has gotten the crowd going here for the Nittany Lions. As waiting for this score to be put up here. But her teammates definitely happy. A 9-9-2-5 playing hero ball is Herring, as the Nittany Lions will come away with a victory here against the Nebraska Cornhuskers for the first time since 2006. The freshman, Amani Herring from Denville, New Jersey, does it for the blue and white.
That is a huge score both for her and the team. As you said, it's just a freshman, and that is her career high, as she's never scored above a 9-8 in the event, but she pulls away with the victory. Looks like it's going to be 196.35 to a 196.325, so it doesn't get much closer than that.
Yeah, her career best high was against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights at a 9.875. And Coach Sarah Brown mentioned that this could be a 197 team. They're on the cusp, just have to fix a couple of bumps and bruises here and there, and they're right on track, ending with a 196.35. And we'll have to check back at the Rutgers score to see if that was a yearly high, as it was not. Against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, they had a 196.550.
Crowd loving this exhibition routine, as well as just dealing with the fact that they won first time since 2006 at Rec Hall. Home atmosphere is huge on Valentine's Day night. What a routine for them.
Well, just want to mention a beautiful routine also for Haley Gibble, as she was an expedition there. And no, we were talking a little bit as it's an exciting event for the Nittany Lions when they come away with a victory when there hasn't been a win since 2006. We've harped on it all night. But nonetheless, the expedition there for Haley Gibble, a phenomenal routine as well, as the Nittany Lions trying to update our score here, ending with a 196.35 for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, a 196.325. The Nittany Lions coming away with a .025 win here at the historic Rec Hall.
It's a huge night for the team, and just Penn State in general. Penn State's women's gymnastics getting more and more press as they keep upping their wins, and they are now 5-0 at home this season.
For the Nittany Lions, a great showing, as a lot of own individual athletes for this women's gymnastic team broke their season highs, career highs, and had a really good showing. And on the other side, for the Cornhuskers, want to have to mention what a dominant showing it really was for Emma Spence tonight out of Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. So good for her showing tonight, ending with a 39.425 in her all-around, beating her all-time best, which was huge for her. So a good night for her, unfortunately not able to come away with the win. However, the Penn State Nittany Lions coming away with one here today at home, as Ali mentioned it, 5-0 at home and back to 500 ball in the Big Ten, and competing at a high level here, as they will move to 8-4, as they'll try and fix some bumps and bruises on the road. Still 0-4, but 3-0 in neutral sites and 0-4 on the road. For the Cornhuskers, they will drop 2 straight, last Iowa and then tonight to the Nittany Lions, as they will go and face Michigan on the road in Ann Arbor on February 17th. For the Nittany Lions, looking ahead at their schedule, pulling it up here, as we mentioned, 8-4 on the season, 2-2 in conference play now, snapping that one-game losing streak, 5-0 at home. They will move forward to face the Ohio State Buckeyes here in Rec Hall Friday, February 17th for Thon Night. It'll be at 6 p.m. As you see here, the final scores up on the board as the Nittany Lions still having to do a little add to the fourth rotation. But that'll be all we have for tonight. But stay tuned for the awards showing for the Nittany Lions here, as the Nittany Lions, after every event, is the Ann Carr Award, which goes to the most decorated gymnast of the night. And Ann Carr was a gymnast for the Nittany Lions in the 1980s, which this award goes to the most inspirational athlete of the night. So it'll be interesting to see. However, the Nittany Lions will come away with a victory here tonight. And I want to say thank you all so much for tuning in to Big Ten Plus's coverage of Penn State women's gymnastics. For Allie Wenskowski and myself, Jude Wozniak, we also want to thank everyone back in the studio helping us out here. I want to say so long, and we will see you all very soon.